So please welcome Richard Crawford-Small.
Thank you. Good morning. You know where this is going, don't you? Morning. In fact, right, okay, tell you what, everybody stand up for me. Stand up. Okay. Please stand up. Thank you. Right. Let's get our mind in the right place, okay? So deep breath in. And out. And in. And out. And one more. And in. Hold it. And out. Sit down. Feel better now?
Yeah.
Right. Morning. Yeah! Look at that energy control. How's that working? So, I'm really honoured to be here. Actually, I was trying to work out how to start this, and I thought, you know what? You just start from the top. So, I've been in this market for 22 years. I started off getting headhunted by a small biotech company called Inamed that had this amazing thing called a hyaluronic acid. I hadn't got a clue what a hyaluronic acid was, but when I looked at what they were paying me, I'm like, I'm Mr. Hyaluronic Acid. I'm all over hyaluronic acids. Tell me, I bathe in hyaluronic acids. We did pretty well, actually. That company got acquired by Allergan. I'm sure you all know who Allergan are. They merged the filler and the toxin together, created Allergan Medical Aesthetics. And we basically rampaged through the industry for about 4 years, growing it as rapidly as we could. And we did a really good job. And I say that because if you look at the leadership roles in some of the major companies in the medical aesthetics around the world, a lot of them actually are from Allergan at that period in time. So we did a cracking job. I eventually had enough of the corporate world, left 2012, set up my own consultancy business. And I've done loads of shit since then. I've helped launch products. I created a software system called iConsult, which was the first iPad-based clinic management system. Thought it'd be a great idea if I stuck a cryptocurrency in it. That's where I met Claire. It's a terrible idea. Don't ever do that. Because it crashed when Bitcoin went over. And I then set up a business called Aesthetic Entrepreneurs. Anybody remember that? Yeah. And I did that through lockdown. And that was a really fab time. It was a really good time. I mean, we helped each other make money because I didn't get furloughed. I didn't get any government help. I had to hustle through it, right? A lot of us here did. But what happened was I didn't stop the hustle. I carried on going. So when everybody went back and stepped into their lives and lockdown kept going, I kept going on at the same pace. And as I said, I haven't been on a stage since September 2003, and I was in New York. That was the last talk I did because I got back from New York and I absolutely crashed. I fried myself, I burnt myself out. And then a couple of weeks after that, my dad died. So my world for the last 18 months has been very turbulent. And I've done a lot of work in that time. There is a point to this story, by the way. I've done a lot of work in this time to actually look back at what happened to me. But also what I started to see was some real things I was seeing with my customers, with my clients, about how they were behaving and the traits that they were adopting, this hustle culture, this desperate need for success to be financial or material. And it's just, I realized it's not worth it. What was wrong with me was I was completely out of alignment. And I actually think from a broader perspective, I actually think the sector, this aesthetic sector, is completely out of alignment as well. And that's a lot of what the problems we're seeing. So I want you to come with me up, 100,000 feet. You're here, you can do some work on the business now and just start thinking a little bit strategically about how you fit in your business, how you fit in this sector. Because there's a real opportunity right now. And this is one of the benefits of, not getting dressed for about a month. Was I've got some perspective and I've taken a bit of a step back and I've looked at this market and I can see where it's going. And I actually think there's incredible opportunities out there for everybody if we focus on certain things in a certain way. All good? Cool, right. We tend to wear 4 different masks. And the thing is that when we're in the business and we're working in our businesses, these masks tend to keep you pinned, tend to keep you stuck. So I'll go through them and I'll see if you can recognize yourselves or any of the things that you're doing in any of these particular masks. So the first one is the technician. So, technician, you're in the treatment room all day. You never have time to work on the business because you're buried in it. Burnout lives in this one. You love your craft, you care deeply about your business, you care about your clients. It's never been the problem. Problem is, you can't scale it. Who feels like that sometimes? By the way, this is audience interaction, right? Because I need to know that it's resonating, so please put your hands up. Who feels like that? Cool. Right. The rescuer. You constantly step in, fix your team's problems, or you constantly step in and help out your client. The rescuer. Rescuer's on WhatsApp at 8 o'clock at night, answering messages. You're exhausted, you have very high standards, you want excellence. Problem is, you become a bottleneck. Anybody feel like that sometimes? Yeah. The trader. You're undercharged to stay busy. You run offers because it feels safe, right? There's acceptances in this as well. Oh, thanks very much for doing that. I really appreciate you doing it. You know your services are worth more, but you're afraid people won't pay. You care about accessibility and want to help, but you can't keep saving everyone at your own expense. This is why you don't get paid. Yeah? This is you, right? This is why you don't get paid. The martyr. The final one, my favorite one. You've accepted the chaos. It's all fucked up, you know? It's on fire. You believe that success comes from suffering. That was me. You think you're the only one who can handle it. You're committed. You've sacrificed everything to build this. But it doesn't have to cost you everything. I was well in this. Who feels like that? Who feels like all four of them at various different times, right? And that's the truth right there, is they're interchangeable. You bounce from one to the other. And it's just about how, you know, getting a handle on all of this. Because these aren't meant to be your identity now. These were the things that you did to get your business up and running. You have to evolve. Problem is, when we stay like that, when we stay technically focused, when we stay rescuing our customers, when we stay trading discounts because we're not charging enough, and we feel trapped in the business because we are working really, really hard, but you're not getting the reward from it. What's the reward? What is the reward from running a business? It's not a trick question. Money.
Earning a living.
Money.
Yeah, it's money.
Money. The purpose of a limited company is to generate a profit. Did you know that? It's actually part of it's the rules. Right? It's the rules. The purpose of a limited company, articles of incorporation, if you ever read them, you've got a limited company, is you're supposed to generate a profit. So to do that, you may have to have a bit of an identity shift. Maybe wear one mask, or maybe don't wear any mask. The mask to wear is leadership. Get yourself aligned and lead. Lead the business, lead yourselves, lead your customers. And actually, I think, be bold. Lead this market. This market needs leaders. It's been rudderless for years. I'll be honest, you know, there's a podcast I did with Ignite Growth. I think it's out this week. I'm really honest in that. Probably too honest, if I'm, you know, but it was just where I was at the time. This market's been rudderless for years. The opportunity is there, and it's there for people who are willing to actually take a big step forward and go, do you know what? No, I'm done with all of this. This is what we're doing. And I'll explain to you want to know how. Who would like to know how to do this? Who would like to know how to do this? Yes, come on, get some energy, man, some enthusiasm. Right, number one, have a clear goal. Exactly. The picture of Chris Hemsworth has absolutely nothing to do with this presentation at all. I just know my audience, and if you put a half-naked picture of Chris Hemsworth on there, people start paying attention to you. Who knew? But, you know, have a clear goal. Who's got a clear goal? Who believes they have a clear goal? Be bold, brave, show me your hands, yeah? Great, okay. Goals, I think, they come in different forms. You've got time, energy, and money. Those are the three resources that you have available to you at any one time. That's it, nothing more. If you've got lots of money, great. If you've got lots of time, great. If you've got lots of energy, great. Problem is, that's not often how it works. When I start working with a client, what often happens is it's either cash poor or time poor. It's generally what the problem is. If you haven't got enough energy, you're not doing all of this. So the trick is to balance all of this. And that's where you find that alignment, the balance between having enough money to do what you need to do, which gives you the time to actually enjoy the benefits of running a business, which is holidays, cars, life. That's the whole point of all of this. And energy. And if you've got the energy you can replenish, where I came unstuck is I traded money for my energy. That's what happened. It was great, but what came out of it was everything that I saved, I ended up spending because I couldn't work for 18 months. Literally could not work. So what was the point of all of that? Balance. So when you're thinking about your goals, what is it you really want more of? If you were really honest with yourselves, what do you want more of? Time. The only one they're not making any more of. So your work, your goal, is you generate the money, use your energy to generate the money, to get your time, until you can balance it all. Make sense?
Yes.
Cool. So, GR. Have a roadmap. A goal without a dream, a goal without a plan is just a dream. Would you like me to give you a nailed-on roadmap of what you can do for the next 10 years? Really interested to know what Charlotte's going to talk about later on. But this is the data. So, while I was in my sabbatical, I studied a lot around multi-generational marketing. Who knows what multi-generational marketing is? Okay, so basically, if you take the population of the UK and break it up, you can break it up into generations. So you've got baby boomers. You heard baby boomers? Generally, born after the post-war. They paid £3.50 for a house. They've got the best pensions. And it's, this is no disrespect intended. This is just facts, right? Just facts. You've got the millennials, which are the younger children of baby boomers. Noisy, annoying siblings, as I call them. My kids are Gen Z, spend all our money on skincare, which is great. But Gen Z spends all our money. You've got Gen Alpha, which are way too young to be of any use at all. And you've got, the 7%, which is kind of the war generation, right? Now, Gen X, which is my generation, anyone who's roughly between 40 and 60 right now, let's say, 45, 65, is Gen X. Now, legends, absolute legends, right? We are forgotten. And this is how completely forgotten we are. When I got AI to help me with this slide, I forgot to put Gen X in there. I shit you not. I had to go back and do it myself. So, but 20% of the population. Now, 20% of that population, roughly 50-50. So you're looking at 7 million women, roughly, 7 million men. Now, interesting thing about Gen X is, at that age, we have some very unique challenges. Aging parents. Who's got, aging parents, right? Who's still got family or kids in school? So you've got this responsibility, that responsibility. You're working, your pension pot, it's not going to be like a boomer's, right? Mortgages, everything's more expensive. So how much longer are Gen X going to have to be in the workplace for? Again, it's just a fact, right? So we're going to have to work longer. I was at my birthday barbecue yesterday, and I was talking to Emma, who's 50, and she said that to me. And that, for me, nails it. That's the direction of travel for the next 10 years in this marketplace, is baby boomers. You remember the language that was used back in the start of this sector, 10 years younger. It's not 10 years younger. This is where I am. I haven't got time to have downtime. I haven't got time for this. I haven't got time for that. I just want to be looking and feeling great, this great, when I'm 70. Would you all agree with this? Yeah? So why is the market not doing this? The marketing and the communication that I see coming out of the aesthetics market is still really heavily geared towards baby boomers, or they've just skipped Gen X completely and they're talking to millennials. That's what Everless have done. They're taking their product and saying, well, we're going to aim at millennials. My personal view, I think it's a mistake. Because I think injectables are actually going to decline. Because the Emmas of this world that I speak to, they don't want to be injected. They're actually, they're heavily invested in the skincare routine, the things that you're talking about, the peels, those sort of stuff. Again, I'm not technical, right? I'm not up here to be technical. That's your job. My job is to look at how you can make money out of it. So if I balls it up, I'm sorry. So you've got to align yourself around all of this. Now, how can you take advantage of this? Really, really simple process. People, problem, pain, passion, product, profit. This is a product launch methodology. It's exactly the same one that Claire would use when she's launching her products. It's exactly the same one that you should use. People, do you know who your target market is? Well, if you don't, I just told you. But you need to get them to know them a little much better. As Ash was saying, what was fantastic about Ash's talk earlier was the depth she went into. You could feel the emotion that coming off her, the connection that she has with her clients. It's really powerful. So you know the people. Do you know the problem that they have? What is the main problem that Gen X has? Gen X women. 100% of them are going to have this problem. Menopause. They're going to go through that journey. That's the main problem. Pain. Is it impacting their lives? Yeah, of course it is. Passion. Do you guys actually give a shit about that? Yeah, you should do. So you care about it. Perfect, right? Can you create a product or solution to help them? Yeah? Is there any money in it? Hell yes. Hell yes. Because Gen X are wedged up. Absolutely wedged up. Lots of disposable income, which despite what they tell you, they're just tight.
I think a lot of them as well, sorry to...
Sorry, no, please do.
Coming to the end of their mortgage payments as well and stuff like that, so they're going to have more of the disposable.
Yeah. A couple of kids off the wage bill, So now that it's a perfect time. You can see this in the press at the moment with all the things about Wegovy and Ozempic and the talking about the weight loss products. That's out there. It's Gen X. I haven't even looked through the data, but I'll be really surprised if the growth in that is not being driven by Gen Xers. So that's what you need to nail down. Now, how you lose money is you don't do that. What I often see the mistake that's made is get really, really excited about something. Yeah, it's great. But they don't do any of the background work. Don't identify who your target market is. Don't actually clearly identify what the problem is. What's the problem you're solving? If you're not solving a problem, no one's going to buy anything. Does it actually have a pain point? Yeah, I've got people, there's a problem. Do they care? Don't sell me hair, I'm fine being bald. I'm totally happy with it. So hair restoration or hair, what do you call it? Hair transplants. There we go. Thank you. Hair transplants. Going to bounce off me because I don't care. Passion. Yes, really interested about this. Got a product. There's no money in it. What's that? A hobby. It's a hobby. Sorry, it's not a business. It's a hobby. You can't make money off hobbies. So we're business people, right? We're leaders. So you've got your roadmap. Opportunity. You're going to have to become experts in designing processes. This is the difference between businesses that do and businesses that do not. It's process. I hate to be boring about it. But you've got processes in your business, right? You've got a sales and marketing process. You've got a client onboarding process. You've got a follow-up process. Even though most people I talk to don't believe me, you have a follow-up process. So you've got a new client. They're coming into your business, you treat them, and then often what happens is after that, I'll give you a call in a couple of weeks and I'll see you in 3 months. And that was very much what it was like in the days of injectables, and maybe it still is. But you've got to put processes in place to retain your customers. And also remember that you have a clinical or a technical process, and you have a communication process. They're on different levels. Don't combine the two. So this is telling your clients, what's going to happen, and this is telling them what has happened, why it happened, and why it benefits them. You've got two levels to talk about. So when you think about the processes that you've got, how effective are they? And the easiest way to look at that is where are the problems that you see in the business. So who tracks the number of leads that they get?
Laura.
Okay.
I do now.
Yeah. So, I get it. It's difficult. It's a difficult thing to do because a lot of them come from different places. So if I ask a different question, who knows where their leads come from? Okay, cool. So that's the start of a process, your lead generation process. Who knows what their conversion rate is from a lead to an appointment or a consultation? Okay. So if your answer is no to these, you've got gaps in your processes. So who knows what the conversion rate is from their appointments to actually having a treatment? Okay. Who knows what the average sale value is? Okay. Cool. All right. Who knows what their retention rate is? Right. So these aren't to embarrass. These are processes, right? And these are business. If you want to do decent money in businesses, energy, time, money, you want to make decent money, it's process driven, because that's where the opportunity is. For every process you don't have, it's a gap for a client to fall through. So you can dump as much money into ads as you want, but if those processes aren't there to support it, you're just wasting money. And I see that all the time. But it's fine. These are all fixable, by the way, right? These are all fixable. And they don't take that long. You just need to understand what process to fix and then fix it. With me so far? Okay, know the way. Any Mandalorian fans in here? Show, man, air. It's always a risk when you hear it. It was like, who's that? What? So, know the way. This is really important for me. And this is what, again, I'm going to use Ash as my case study. What you've nailed, absolutely nailed it, is the way, vision, values. You have to communicate what's in here to someone else through the medium of video, audio, interactive content, or what?
Dance.
Or dance, yes. Interpretive dance. I can't do. If you could do that, I'm all in. Yeah, I want to see that. But you have to communicate it, right? Your vision and values. Has anybody done any work really understanding what their vision and values are? What do you stand for? Lisa, what do you stand for?
I'm standing for basically empowering women like myself.
Perfect. And how do you do that?
Just by my avatar is pretty much middle-aged kind of women. Just by having most of my marketing things around that, by giving them time, by listening to them. Obviously, I train and teach a lot, so I do that. Take on a lot of people's questions and things as well. Maybe I shouldn't as much.
Come up a little bit. So you help empower women by helping them to do what?
Helping them to achieve their own goals, hopefully.
There you go.
To realise their goals and then step towards.
Yeah, perfect. That's it. And then it's like, well, how do you do that? Well, that's when I use all these products, treatments, etc., right? So, and do you live that? Do you demonstrate that? They're people your age. So, do you demonstrate how empowered women should be? Or do you try?
Maybe I try.
Yeah.
Probably someone else could comment if I
Yeah. But the thing is, the point I'm making is you've got to live it, right? You've got to live it. So your vision and values, this is what I stand for. Your behaviours, they have to back it up. Because what happens if you don't really live your behaviours? It's false, right? And people can see it a mile away. And Gen X are like, they've got bullshit sniffers you wouldn't believe. We were all raised, right, with if it's too good to be true, it is. I still that's why I don't get scammed on the internet, right? Because buy this amazing speaker for 50 quid. Nah, load of shit. So your beliefs, your behaviour, and your vision and values have to align. And the other thing that does is when you do that, it makes life much easier for you because you're not having to wear a mask. You're just being yourself. And that plays into this. So and this is leadership. So when you start communicating this way, you actually start to attract customers to you. And the next part is around it is, well, how do you do that? And it's content. And I know, been in this market long enough and spoken to you guys often enough to know how challenging people find this. And I get it, right? I really understand. But it's one of the things you're going to have to try and step through. because you cannot abdicate this. You can delegate it, but abdication is what I'm seeing, and that's people going, who does your social media and marketing for you? Oh, I've got this person who does it. Okay, well, what are they creating? No idea. What's strategy? No idea. What's the posting schedule? No idea. So you're paying someone to do your social media marketing for you. You have no idea what they're doing. That is called abdication. Delegation is, I'm in charge of my social media marketing strategy because I know who my ideal client is, I know the problem, I know the pain point, I know what we're selling, we've got a campaign all set up, and they're doing the content that I've created, editing or publishing the content I've created, right? That is delegation. Remember the difference. So I would, honestly, pick one. Visual, text, interactive or audio. Start with video if you can. Start with live video if you're feeling really punchy. Who does live video? How many years have I been doing this? How many years have I been doing this? Since 2018, you're always the only person who puts their hand up? A bit. Yeah. Why? How am I for time, by the way? You're okay. Why would I be stood up here saying, do live video? What would be the benefit to you?
It's authentic. It's real time. It's not edited.
They do get deleted in 30 days now.
Only if you let them. You can tick never delete. Yeah. No, never tick never delete. And to be fair, if it gets deleted in 30 days, it's fine. Just put it again, post it again. It's chip paper. The reason is because it demonstrates your adherence to this. If you talk about live, your vision, values, your belief, you're demonstrating things. And what I mean talking about it is, let's think of an example. Who here has had a client so happy with the result they've cried? Right. Where can I see that bit of marketing? The most powerful story you have, you don't tell. So imagine if you did a little bit of content going, do you know what, I'm going to tell you a little story about this client. And you could use a false name and you tell it from the third person. And you explain that. Who's it going to communicate to? And you just tell what happened. This is how she felt. This is what I did. This is the outcome. She cried. If you're feeling like that, drop me a line. It's much more powerful than just buy my shit. And if you did it live, it's live. All of the kind of contradict my next slide, but all of the platforms favour live content. They will push it like 10 times more than just uploading a video. So if you can do it live, do it live. I get it. It's stressful. It makes you completely vulnerable. What happens if it goes wrong? I'll tell you what. This is the worst. This is how wrong it went for a client of mine. As long as you don't do this, you'll be fine. I finally convinced her to go live. She had a tabletop kind of tripod like that, sets it up, puts it on. I'm like, I'm being supportive, so I'm watching this live. And she's talking. It falls off the table, and you can see up her skirt. And thought I was the only one watching. And that was it. It's not only that she never did live again. We didn't really speak much either after that, which is a bit of a shame. But make sure you fix your tripod down. But the thing is, you're supposed to make mistakes, right? You're not good at things the first time you do them. You get good at it the more you do it, and it becomes more comfortable. But, and I mean this from the heart, bollocks to the algorithm. Don't chase the algorithm. It's too difficult. It's too clever. It's way too clever. And remember, if a Gen X, you're still communicating to people who like tape decks, right? So don't worry too much about it. Just create the content that you think will resonate with your ideal client and just share it. And share it and share it and share it. And eventually it catches up. Don't get caught in this game of chasing the algorithm. Please don't, because you won't win. You won't win. And, right, this is an important one. Build tribes. Now, one of the things I've kind of accidentally become quite good at is building online communities. And the power of these is going to be the thing that I think is transformative in marketing in the next 3 to 4 years in this aesthetics market. And this is why. That no one's doing it. When I mean about building tribes, what I mean is, who here has a WhatsApp account for their customers? All right? Now, who here has an email list? Who here's got a social media page that they post on every now and again? Right. That's not a tribe. An email list is great, but if you've got like a WhatsApp group where you can nurture and actually talk to people without having to fire an email because it's really formal, without having to ring them up because no one takes, Gen X, who answers the phone? No one answers. I don't know. No. No. If your number is hidden, I will respect your wishes for privacy and not answer it. So you need to start bringing them into it. And there are platforms out there like School, WhatsApp. WhatsApp's an easy one I'd start with. Set it up as a little WhatsApp group and invite your clients. And then tell them stuff. Give them freebies, give them information. Ask them questions. Who here has had this treatment? How's it going? Engage with them. Do you think that would work? Right. So if you take one thing away from this whole talk, go and do it. Why don't you think it would work? What's the fears in it?
I've got a lot of private clients, don't want pictures taken, don't want to be even out there at all on social media, and that puts me off asking.
Yeah, perfect, right? So one, because WhatsApp's closed and encrypted, you invite them, their decision. You're empowering them.
From an appointment, I have a WhatsApp group for
Yeah.
clients.
Would you like to be part of it? Well, why should I be part of it? Well, it's where you can ask questions. Sometimes you're not going to be able to get me. I'm not going to be sitting on WhatsApp answering your messages. But if you get 3 or 4 different questions, I'll do a little video, stick it on WhatsApp, and it's just there for you guys.
Put it as a VIP group.
You can do that if you wanted to. It's a good way of starting out. Yeah, just put it for your top clients. But it's...
Information,
What do you mean?
well, you don't want people to start engaging with each other. That's
What?
why not?
Perfect question. Why not?
It's just that, it's just the thing about,
What the other one gonna think, what I've said.
when you obviously differences between the way, but why didn't you do that with me? Why did you do that treatment on her?
Depends on what the group's for. So, and again, that's a great question, right? Because if you get that, how do you manage conflict? Or why did you do that with her? Why didn't you do that? Because you're all... That's for you to manage. But remember, everybody... You can set rules up. Yeah. Yeah.
Money, we don't talk about, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. You can set the rules out, but also it's, there's a confidentiality aspect to it. There's trust in it. So what you're doing is you're basically giving people the option, and you can set the rules. I would set the rules. We don't talk about treatments. This is about, asking questions about your particular treatment, pushing them through different routes. But the point of it is it's not necessarily an information center. It's a community. It's an area for people to talk. And WhatsApp's one element of it. There's another group called School. You could use all sorts of different places to do it. But my point around it is why I think it's important is just yesterday. Was it yesterday or today? I'll invite you to join my group after this, actually. And there's a link in it, and it's an article in The Guardian. Yes, I read The Guardian, sorry. Talking about why people lie about having Ozempic treatments. Right? Why do, the stigma attached to it. And what was really interesting in it was they're talking about how there are lots of little subreddit accounts. You know what Reddit is? Yeah, there are lots of subreddit accounts with people sharing information, sharing tips, sharing recipes, sharing where do they stash their needles. And I'm thinking, well, they're on Reddit, they're helping each other. Imagine if you, as a leader, took ownership of it, created an environment for them a safe space for them to communicate. It's not just about, Ozempic, Mounjaro, anything like that. This is about all the treatments, right? About what you do. Create a safe space for them to communicate and nurtured them. That's what tribes are. And the thing with tribes, they're powerful. So you've got people coming into, we've agreed, Gen X is the one with the challenges. They're having, perimenopausal, menopausal. You've got the passion, the tools, the knowledge, the insight to help them.
How often would you think you would be commenting in this group? Because a lot of things, I've got quite a few Facebook groups and stuff, and they just go for that. And there's a lot of big people I know did it to build their tribe, and now they don't comment in it at all.
That's because they don't. That's the thing. They don't comment in it. I would not do. It sounds hypocritical having built a business on Facebook groups. I would not do another Facebook group. Facebook is a hate-filled, toxic mess. I detest that place. It's horrible. It just sells rage. Look, I'm getting angry about it now, right? It does. It just sells rage. I don't want to, I want to protect myself, my space, right? So I've got a WhatsApp group, I've got a school group, pretty much off Facebook. and using Instagram and TikTok, things are going fine, right? So remember, you've got client bases, so you can do this now. This is also a way of nurturing your existing client base, making more money, helping them through it, you know? It's like do it or do not, but there's, from my point of view, looking as a consultant observer on this marketplace and seeing where the opportunities are, this is what I'm seeing. And the H, harvest, make money. You're going to have to know your numbers. Again, if you think process is one part of it, this is where your money lives. This is where the reward lives. So over time, evolve your processes so you know what these are. Leads, number of leads you're getting. How many of those leads convert into appointments? Conversion point 1. How many of those appointments convert into a procedure? Conversion point 2. What's the total sales you're making? What's the average sale you're making? Those are, and I hate to say it, those are basic numbers for a business. Because if you don't know those, how the hell are you going to work those out? Turnover is an easy one, right? But if you're not knowing what your average sale is, and gross profit's going to be quite a difficult one to work out, then you don't know what your net profit is. So you have no idea how much cash you've got, so you can't actually work out how much you're going to spend to buy the assets that you need. So it starts there. And the balance is price versus experience, right? This is the whole thing that we've been talking about is the more that you load your business on value, less price, the more money you will make. Fact. People sell how they buy. They buy how they sell. If you buy on price, you'll sell on price. You won't make any money because nothing says I love my clients like giving them the cheapest shit you can. And it works. I don't do big up on testimonials and stuff like that, but this one, sales says it for me, is this process, if you follow it, it works because it takes you on a journey. And we start where you need to start. You might want to be more time, you want more money. Time is often a big one, right? Because if you're like me, you probably try and squeeze like 200 hours of work into a 160-hour week, and then you give yourself recriminations for not being able to do it. Well, that's ridiculous, isn't it? So we prioritize, we delegate, we get rid of the shit that we don't need to do. So we get our time back so we can then create the energy to generate the money. And in that time space as well is time for us. Wednesday afternoon, go to the cinema. Friday afternoon, don't work. You take the time for yourselves, because if you're burning yourself, it doesn't matter. Eventually you'll run out of energy. I did, and it's horrible. And I'll tell you exactly how that manifested itself. I was sat on a hay bale at a festival. I just had a big weed brownie with my mate Dan, and he said, how's business? And I opened my mouth to say, it's all good. And what came out of my mouth was, I've never felt so trapped in my life. And that moment right there was when that was the start of the crash. And I know it was because I just worked myself right up to that point. And there's only one place to go after that. So, has that been useful? And it's given you a lot to kind of think about, but the things that I would look at actioning are looking at your processes, go through it. What do I really know what my goals are? Have I got a kind of a map? Did I believe what Rich said about Gen X? Yes, fine. Then you move down that road. Opportunities, have I got my processes in place? Do I have my vision and values kind of nailed down? Have I created my commandments, if you like? Then tribe, maybe it might be a step too far for you right now, but start thinking about it. If I was going to shift that way, you've got a tribe of your own clients. You've got their phone numbers, you've got them contacted. You're going to win. And H, the harvest. Start to know your numbers. If you want to jump into my little group, I have called it Aligned Aesthetics. It's a school group. It's not on social media. Scan it, jump in, and I'll see you on the other side. What did I say was so funny? I didn't expect that response from it. That's all right. Any questions?
More emotional than
Oh, sorry. No, I'm not intending to do anything like that. So, questions? Any thought or thoughts?
I just love what you said about systems, because I think, especially when I started out in aesthetics, I was very much focused on what I could learn, what I could provide, but then quickly realised without those systems you can't provide those services, and it's why McDonald's can run on with 16-year-olds, because they have good systems, isn't it? So
Yeah.
I think, yeah, I really liked that.
Yeah, and there are no real excuses. Systemization. You've got so many different tools now. Automation. You've got Zapier that connects different systems together. You've got Fiverr, people per hour. You've got access to a labour market that can connect all of these systems together. So there are no excuses for not having the systems. I think that the creative part of it, when I said you have to get into designing the system, is how do you want it to work for you? And that's the trick. So when you come up against something that you're doing, and this is how I work systems out, is if I'm repeating something, no, catch it. Oh, I've done this 4 times. Right. Step back. What are the steps? What do I need to do to automate those steps? And then third step is do it. Done. System's automated. And then, as you hire staff, as you bring people in, maybe one day you'll get an operations manager in and you've got a whole, there you go. Eat that. Done. One step closer to earning money without working. Yeah. Eat that. There you go. Here's a big folder of shit. Yeah. Or someone like yourself comes into a business and you go, right, what systems have you got? And you go, 6 months, you're out. Now I'm done. So, any other questions? Sorry, I saw a hand up.
Are you staying? I know you've got to get off.
I'm staying for lunch, yeah. Yeah, I'm staying for lunch, yeah.
I appreciate sometimes it might be a little bit personal, some of the questions you might
Yeah, of course, I'll be around. Yeah. Or I said, if now's not, what I'll say for you guys, right, is if now's not an appropriate time and you think, okay, I want to digest on this and I want to catch up with me, scan that. It brings you into the group. Obviously, I'll see who's joined from today. And what I'll do is I'll send you a link. You can book a call with me. How about that? Would that be all right? Yeah? I can, half an hour, we'll have a chat. If I can help you, I can help you. If not, not. Thank you.
Thank you.